Well, I think I probably noticed it when I started working outside and I looked up and thought, oh my goodness, there's two billboards towering over this neighborhood. I wonder how they ever got there. Why would they let such blight be in this neighborhood? It's across from the church, across from the school, in a residential area. So we called up the city and they started to research it, and they got back to us and said, oh, those signs are illegal. They have no permits, they have no licenses. And we were so happy. We said, finally, we can get rid of them. We should have done this years ago. So that's when I really began to understand how difficult it is to get the billboard industry in this country to comply with the law. We took it first to the Department of License and Inspections, where there was a hearing, and we won. Then they appealed to the Zoning Board of Adjustments. The whole neighborhood went down. Even the parish priest came down with us to make sure that the zoning board upheld the law. Then they appealed that. So all this time we're thinking the sign's going to come down. Months are going by, years are going by. Then they appealed to the Commonwealth Court. But we won that case too. And in the meantime, this sign is standing, is making money every single day. In other neighborhoods, there was such a proliferation, and most of those signs were advertising alcohol and tobacco, glamorizing these products in neighborhoods that were struggling with the problems of addiction and all kinds of other problems. No child should have to feel less about where they live. Now, one of the councilmen introduced a law down in Philadelphia to strengthen the laws about billboards. And he called me up and said, I've been reading about you in the paper. I know your neighborhood has had this problem with billboards. Could you come down and testify? So oh my gosh, what, testify? Me? I'm just a little mother home with my children. But I got somebody to babysit the kids, put my suit on, and went down to that hearing. And, I just thought, this is a slam dunk. This law is going to be passed. We're going to clean up all these illegal billboards. It's a dream come true. Isn't democracy great? I am so glad I'm an American. And the billboard industry comes up, and they go on and talk about how they're such a great business force, and how they help the little guy, and that they don't have any illegal signs, and they work with the community, and they're just a real job driver in the city. So after they finish their whole testimony, they sort of look around and say, well, was there any, oh, Mary Tracy, are you here? And I say, yeah, I'm still here. So I go up and I talk about our story here in Overbrook Farms and saying, I don't know what neighborhoods they're talking about, but I know in our neighborhood, they don't work with the community. They did have an illegal sign. They refused to take it down. It's been there for years. They continue to take money, and I think we really need to have stronger laws and stop it, because if it's happening in my neighborhood, think of what's happening in every other neighborhood in the city. I thought that was going to be the end of it, but it wasn't the end of it. And what I've learned, if nothing else, about this industry is there is never an end to it, because a few short months later, the billboard industry was down there trying to get a variance from the very laws that I and all of my other collaborators had worked on getting passed. They wanted a variance to allow them to legalize some illegal billboards. I was livid. We're the ones that go in and testify and sue when the laws aren't upheld, and we have 16 published Commonwealth Court decisions in Philadelphia. We've set new precedents in land use law in Philadelphia. We've gotten rid of over 1,000 of those little 8-sheet billboards, the small ones that are in the poorest neighborhood. We've stopped the huge wall wraps from going up on our buildings, so unlike many other cities where you see these vinyl signs that cover windows, can be 10 stories high, in Philadelphia, we litigated that all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court and won.
She's really committed to the beautification of Philadelphia, and that, at the time, the primary way that she was getting at that was looking to remove the billboards, not just on I-95, which is a main thoroughfare, and it gives people an impression of Philadelphia when they travel through it, but also in the neighborhoods where they were starting to impact commercial corridors.
Do people who live in disenfranchised neighborhoods have any less right to pleasing visual environments than those of wealth? In fact, I would argue that people who are dealing with the hardships of poverty and all that accompanies it need more beauty in their life.
She was able to negotiate a deal with the city where they finally enforced that part of their code to get those down.
There's a real revitalization that's going on in Mount Airy.
One of her allies in Philadelphia, when she really started her work here, was a former councilman and is now the mayor of Philadelphia. Here's a man that she greatly respected and had really formed a positive relationship and personal relationship with, and he was on the wrong side of an issue with the way she saw it, and she went on head-on with the mayor and won.
She gets into issues, and when she grabs a hold of something, there really is no letting go, and is very effective, and more oftentimes than not, very successful.
I mean, she's willing to speak truth to power.
She really is a role model to many, many folks. I've learned a great deal from her. We've been on the same side in a number of instances, and we've had differences of opinion in a couple of areas. And it's always direct, it's always frank, it's always respectful. And that is, for me, also one of the true signs of friendship.
I find myself now here as president of Scenic America. And what I just need now is to raise the money to help them and to move this scenic conservation movement to the place where it needs to be in our country before it's too late.
There's no question about it that the world would be a much better place, and Philly would be a better place if we had more Mary Tracys.
And if I can do it, you can do it.